Hiya, kids.
Hiya, kids. Just a minute.
Yeah?
Who are you talking to?
Who are we talking to? Look, all the girls and boys out there. Look, see?
I can't see anybody.
You can't see them?
No.
You just look a little bit harder. Go on.
I can see them now.
Well, listen, give everybody a wave, and they wave back.
Are you sure?
Go on, give them a wave and see. There you are.
Kiwi.
Kitty Harris was just 4 years old when she sat in my audience in the Algarve. 17, maybe 18 years ago, she sat with her brother Shenton and her parents, Sarah and Keith Harris. Keith was the inspiration for the title of this very podcast and, of course, was one of the most successful ventriloquists in the history of the United Kingdom. He would always talk to me of his children, and in particular Kitty, who always showed signs of dance and song, and a personality that always showed eyes and teeth. Now, at 21 years old, you can see Kitty entertaining her 500,000 friends on TikTok with comedy, dancing and singing. And you can also see her belting out tunes on her YouTube channel. In this final edition of Eyes and Teeth Future Stars, we talk about Kitty growing up surrounded by her dad's props and her moments in pantomime and the Blackpool Circus, as well as joining me and wowing a sold-out Viva showroom in Blackpool to raise funds for a statue of her late entertainer father and his precious Orville the duck. Welcome to Eyes and Teeth, Kitty Harris. I remember this young lady when she was about 4 or 5 years old. She's grown into an incredible talent. Please welcome to the show, Kitty Harris.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well.
No, Kitty, I've known you all your life, and it's amazing. I mean, to me, you're like a niece or a younger sister. You know, I have watched you, and from afar, because like you live in Lancashire, I live in Sussex. But I have watched you grow and blossom into this wonderful entertainer and influencer. I guess is that what you called these days, or is that not? What is the term for what you do at the moment?
I guess I'm a performer all around.
It is performer,
yeah.
yeah.
I like to influence people.
Yeah.
Definitely I'm a performer. I guess I'm an influencer, but not an influencer as in like fashion.
Yeah, you are a performer, yeah, because you do everything. There are a lot of people, we'll get to the TikTok chat, which is good tongue twister, but when I get to that part, we could talk about what you do on there, but there are not many talented TikTok people. But you can sing, you can dance, you put all of that into it. And you are so funny as well. You're naturally funny because you're doing all these sketches now, which is blinding. I love it. And do young people still say blinding? I don't know. It's G. What is the words for the younger generation? This is why I'm useless on TikTok. If you don't mind, we'll talk about the younger Kitty when you grew up. Now, your dad was Keith Harris. Keith Harris was a wonderful influence on me, and as you know, he was a ventriloquist. I'm a ventriloquist. He was the master at what he did, and I grew up as a ventriloquist admiring him and everything he did, and he really embraced me. You know, he kind of did treat me almost like a son in the business, which was wonderful, which makes you my sister. So,
definitely. Well,
yeah.
Steve, well, I loved you. Always talked about you, Steve. Always, you know, was so excited when you'd call him and let him know how you were getting on, and he'd always be telling us about stories and how he helped you and things. And yeah, he really did love you.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice, and it's really nice that we've kept, you know, the friendship going. And like you said, you are like my brother, I guess.
Yeah.
With doing the shows and things, it's really nice that we can carry on and, you know, keep going.
Yeah, it is a wonderful connection. And when I spoke to him, he didn't need to ask me, but he said, stay in touch with the family. And that was a no-brainer, really, because I adore you guys, you and Sarah and Shenton. And I saw you grow up. So we were in the Algarve, and I'd see you, we'd have dinner, and you were destructive little children at the dinner table. It was funny to watch. But I've got godchildren and nieces and nephews that I watched, you know, when I was home visiting my brothers and sisters. So you kind of see that progression. But your dad would always, when we'd be on the phone, he'd always talk about how proud he was. And, Kitty's doing the circus, the Tower Circus. She's doing the pantomime. Can you talk to me about those younger years when you started to get the bug of dancing and singing?
Well, ever since I was a baby, obviously I've been, you know, brought straight into the blooming theatre. As soon as, you know, we were out the hospital, I was probably going to theatre. So, you know, I've just always been around it. And, you know, some people say, like, you know, you do something so much you can get sick of it, but I could never. You know, I really feel like it's in my blood, and I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
No.
And, you know, I used to all the time be at home with Dad, and he'd be writing the scripts. He'd be, you know, going over his lines. He'd be, you know, showing us new things that he'd come up with. And the good thing about Dad was he was so creative and always was focusing on, like, the future and what he was going to do and how he could make the world a better place.
Yeah.
And especially in the performance side. And I just have kind of taken it all in, and I was always so inspired. Like, you know, every day there was something so inspiring about him. And, you know, he worked so hard to try and make everyone happy and to keep, you know, variety alive. And, yeah, I used to always be around him, always be around helping him make props for the show. And, you know, you'd come into our house, and especially around Christmas with pantomime. And in the conservatory, we'd have a cow hanging up. We'd have Daisy the cow. We'd have all the costumes all hanging up, ready to go
Wow.
for the show. And there'd be so much preparation. And, you know, I was always just involved. I don't know anything different, really.
Yeah.
So, you know, as soon as I got into pantomimes, it was just the best thing ever, because, you know, I loved it. Like I said before, I didn't know any different, so I was so used to it.
Yeah, of course you were born into it, and I guess you were like a sponge growing up around Keith's work. It's kind of natural within you, and as a performer, and your mum Sarah, the beautiful Sarah, she was a model, so you've got the looks, you know, kind of from your mum, and the talent from your dad. An amalgamation of that is incredible, and it's created the Kitty Harris we know today. And so you did work in the Tower Circus, and what were you dancing at the circus?
Yes, so obviously the Tower Circus, wow, what an incredible place to perform. And, you know, we were very lucky, especially at the dance school I went to, Langley Dance Centre.
Yes.
It was fantastic, and, you know, we had that opportunity to go and dance there over Christmas and be in the pantomime, and I just absolutely loved the experience. I'd always be, you know, so excited after school. I'd be rushing down straight to the tower, straight into rehearsals, and it would be the same, you know, for a couple of months, and I'd love it. It was, you know, my dream, and it was fabulous. And then sometimes, as obviously I grew older, because I do this pantomime every year, I was able to do a few parts. So that was kind of then where the acting a bit more came into it. And, you know, maybe in the singing, I guess. But I have always wanted to sing, though, from a very young age. I started singing lessons at 8 years old. And before that, I was awful, but, you know.
I'm sure you were. My little 4-year-old Larissa, she's 4 now, and she blasts out all of this Frozen 2, all the numbers. Yeah, but she's I'll send you a video clip after this. We've got so many of her singing. Please. But she loves it, you know, and
exactly.
Yeah, but you don't know what you sound like when you're 4, you know. But you blossom, and you take the singing lessons and the dance classes, and that's when you get better. But when you've got that natural talent in you, you need to get it out there, don't you? And you need to actually find out if it is what you want to do. Is it your vocation? And so, but you have worked on that, and you've worked your way up in the Langley Dance Centre. You really have shone, haven't you? And they love you there.
Oh, yes, I feel, honestly, I'm so grateful for all of them there, all of my teachers, Miss Sarah, Miss Donna, Miss Claire, all of them, Louise, you know, and they've just all helped me so much, and obviously they saw something in me, and, you know, they worked on that with me, and I really am so grateful for them. And for all the opportunities, the dance competitions, you know, learning different skills and doing different shows, and just, really believing in me. And it's definitely helped me, you know.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then Is it BTEC in triple music at the Blackpool Sixth Form College? And we're talking about Blackpool as well. That's so you were born in Blackpool, brought up in Blackpool, danced and sung all over Blackpool. And we also talk about a show that we both did about 3 years ago together in Blackpool. So obviously all your friends are there, and it's just an incredible place to be, isn't it? So the BTEC, is it that way you went and you studied Sixth Form?
Yeah, so after I finished high school, I went to the Blackpool Sixth Form College, and that's where I studied triple music. And that was honestly a fantastic course. That was like, one of the best decisions of my life. Truly, it was. Because, I was so focused. I was like, should I go to dance college? Should I be doing that? Should I be doing musical theatre? Like, what should I do? And I was really torn between being a recording artist and then being, a musical theatre star. So, and I just really wanted to do something, I guess, a bit different and see, could I be a recording artist,
Yeah.
And obviously, 2 days, me, last minute Annie, 2 days before we could enrol, I finally enrolled, and then I was in the college the next day, near enough. So, it was such a good idea. It was the best 2 years of my life so far. It really was.
Ice and Tea.
I learnt so much from my two fabulous teachers. Well, there was a few teachers, and again, they believed in me. And it's, when people start to believe in you, I mean, I guess you need to believe in yourself before anyone else can. But, you kind of just, it really helps you. And it just, you think, gosh, there is a path for me out here if I carry on, if I work hard. And it really, it was just amazing.
It just pays off, doesn't it? And you do have to work hard for it. And you've you started to get into different productions and things. So you'd go on, whether it was Chicago or all of these musicals. You'd take quite a few leads as well. What shows did you do when you was at the colleges?
So at college, we actually did a lot of gigs. So obviously, because it was more of a music course, like recording artists, etc. We did a lot of gigs, which was really good for me. So I kind of have a fear of it sounds crazy, but before I go on stage, I get so nervous. I have like a tick sometimes.
Right.
I don't know, but I've heard my dad had a tick in his eye as well.
Wow.
So it runs in the family. But
it must be a good thing though, because it must be that's what you need to do to get you on the stage. And so if your dad had it, then there's no harm in having this little bit of nerves before you go on.
Exactly, and I get so nervous before I go on. I think because I'm quite a perfectionist, I really get upset if anything kind of is out of line or goes wrong, just because I want to show people and put on the best show I ever can, no matter where it is.
Yeah.
So I always want to do that. And as soon as I get on the stage, though, I just love it. And, I get such a rush. And it's like that feeling, that moment is just, that's everything I want. That is literally my dream. And I just love that. I love being able to make people happy. And, through performance. And, if they can let go of things for at least 5 minutes or however long I'm on the stage for, they can forget about the worries or the troubles, then I'm happy to do that. That's
amazing. Because it sounds like a passion as well within you, that you want to keep making people smile.
Always. Like you said, eyes and teeth.
Yeah.
But, I love that. That's just my main thing. The buzz I get, I want people to feel, when they're watching it. And I want them, even if, they can't sing or whatever, they can't dance or whatever, I want them to feel like they can in that moment, being there. Yeah. And just letting go.
And so your mum and dad, did they encourage you always to do the shows or to perform and rehearse? Or?
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like I never really had a problem with that. I didn't really want to go. I think the only time I didn't want to go was very, very early. So when I was probably about 4, I feel like I was a bit stubborn. And I didn't really like to be told that much, stand there, do your first edition. I didn't really like that. I was kind of just wanting to run around, to be honest. But so after that, I kind of didn't really want to go. But then I went to a different dance school and kind of messed about a bit there. And then when I grew up a little bit, so I was about 7 then, when I came back to Langley's, and my head was more screwed on. I wanted to do it then,
Yeah.
And it was more of a thing where I was like, this is what I want to do now. So, I didn't mess around anymore. but yeah, they always encouraged me, and I was actually always the first one to be, I wanted to be at dance. I would always be the first one. I was even wanting to stay after later. I just loved it there. Loved it. Loved with my friends. Loved performing.
Always being around it, I guess. And I've always wanted to be around the business when I was a kid, and just wanted to be in theatres and just hang around. I used to hang around stage doors just to be near those people, and I wanted to get to know comedians and things, and as I blossomed as a ventriloquist, the passion got stronger. And then I'm writing a book called Ventriloquist, and there's a big part in there. Your mum's written a lovely part for me, and it's just there's a lovely tribute to your father. And so it's inside me, it's such a passion. It's more than a job and more than just going out there and making people laugh. It is. It becomes part of you, doesn't it?
It does. It 100% does. And that's what's so special about it. And there's such an atmosphere, like you said, hanging around the stage doors and just being in there and taking it all in. There's just something so, amazing about it. And it's just, you're kind of in awe when, especially when you've got such a passion.
Did you dance in any of your dad's pantomimes?
Sadly, I didn't, because I wanted to kind of be with my friends at Langley's, and I did the gigs at home, whereas Dad would be either in Fareham. He was in Fareham for a while, which is obviously near Southampton, and then obviously when he went off and did Qdos, I was still here, because I grew up with it being here, and it's nice to be at home for Christmas, see the family, etc. So we kind of used to do it like that. We used to just work it around both of us. So yeah, but I would have loved to. We always used to say, well, when I grew up a bit more, we always wanted to do one together, but obviously we didn't get the chance, sadly. But we were always kind of planning them at home, so
I bet you were. I bet you're probably giving them ideas and stuff, as children running about.
Sure. Well, it'd always be like, oh, what's modern, what's new now I can add in. So I'd always give him some jokes or something.
Yeah, you said about you not getting the chance to work with Dad in Panto, and he did ask me if he could direct me or produce me in Panto at one time, and sadly that never happened. And I would have loved that. That would have been amazing. So we both, sort of had those thoughts in our head, and we know that he's looking down on both of us. And but
definitely, I feel that every day, though. There isn't a day I go by and I always feel Dad. I always know he's here.
Yeah, you must feel it in the, when you're in the wings and you're waiting to go on, and that thought in your head.
In the wings, always, yeah, definitely.
You got pantomime, didn't you? So you got pantomime a couple of years ago, and there must have been such a great feeling. I was so happy for you when Qdos gave you a panto, and it must have been so good to focus on that, because it was shortly after we lost Keith, and the focus must have been good.
You know what? That was one of the greatest experiences ever. I loved it so much, and I felt so close to Dad doing that show, because it was in Crewe as well. And Dad was actually meant to be in Crewe on in 2015. So and obviously sadly that's the year he passed, but it was just nice because then I went in 2018 and did the pantomime there, and all of the wonderful staff there, spoke about Dad, and he'd done shows there before, so they all knew him, and it just felt so nice. And of course worked with Cannon and Ball, and it was lovely to hear stories from them that they knew about Dad. And it sounds funny, but after Dad died, I never really knew that much about him as much as I do now. So I feel like I've learned so much, and how much of a good friend, father, and just brother, to everybody that he was. And it's nice to see how much he's impacted so many people's lives. Yeah,
I talk on this podcast, even I spoke about Keith, and there's so much love for him. And it's nearly 6 years, so it never leaves you. These memories of people just never leave you, and it's so good to talk about them. In 2000, when did we do that show? 2018, I think. We put together a show at Viva, And the Viva show was just incredible. Now we had actually Cannon and Ball were going to be on the show at Viva in Blackpool for your dad, and we called the show Eyes and Teeth for obvious reasons. Your dad used to text, I think maybe everybody, but used to text me at the end, lots of love, Keith, Eyes and Teeth, and he'd always sign off with that. So I've called the show that, which was a tribute to your dad to get the statue. Yeah. And also this podcast is called that because I'm thinking about Keith every time I record one. It was so amazing that everybody pulled together for Keith on Eyes and Teeth. So we nearly had Cannon and Ball, but they were working at Viva like 2 weeks later, so they couldn't do both shows. Understandable. But Duncan Norvell, the Crankies, Jimmy Cricket, everybody came out to do the show. We had about 30 performers, Mookie from the circus. It was just incredible. And to have you on it, to perform what you did, you blew the audience away in both productions. So you did Chicago and The Greatest Showman. What did it was such an emotional evening. Yeah.
It was an absolutely fantastic show, Steve. And, we couldn't have done it without you. You were amazing. You were literally the star. So amazing. You're such an amazing person. And, to help us do that, you deserve some sort of award because, it was amazing and definitely part of our family for helping us with that. But yeah, doing that show was it was incredible. It was a very, very emotional day actually because, a lot of things happened in the day as well. Even though we had to put on a show, it was very busy and hectic, but, that's what it's always like. And it was amazing to kind of, I guess, choreograph and come up with something, especially the Chicago piece that I put together was just incredible. And I love doing things like that, love putting the music together, making up the dances, teaching the girls. It was fantastic. And, to get the reaction that it did was just mind-blowing. It was just awesome.
So it was the students of the Langley Dance Centre, is that right? That they were all there in that performance? Yes. So you done Chicago, and the Chicago was incredible. And I think because the show overran a bit, a few of the acts kind of went over, so we had to put one of your performances in the interval. So the show never actually had an interval in the end. We just kept going. For four, we would have done Ken Dodd proud. Yeah. So about 4.5 hours of pure entertainment. And The Greatest Show, I think that was the show that went in the interval. But it was just like, people did go up and grab a few drinks in that time. But I think they just sat back down again. Even though we announced the interval, we said, now here is The Greatest Show. And then Kitty comes back in the brand new outfit and blew them away with another spectacular performance. I mean, to do one performance there must have been nerve-wracking, but you offered to do two, so I felt for you, but I thought, wow, okay. But I mean,
I just love it, Steve. Couldn't get me off.
We couldn't get you off. But I'm just thinking that this would have blown away a Royal Variety performance. It was incredible. And the comedians we had on there, the talent, Simmons and Simmons, everybody wanted to be there for your dad. I think after a while, because I know Sarah proposed a few acts as well, and we put them on. And it was just such a perfect tribute. It sold out. It oversold out, actually. It was standing room only, wasn't it?
I know. I think we should do another.
I think we should. Now the statue is still ongoing at the moment. The COVID hit us, and we were getting so close to getting the statue to start making it, and then we raised a really good amount then, and I think we just need to double it, and then. But I think we've got some help there. So the statue is, for the people that are still waiting, it is still an ongoing project, and it does take a while to get these things sorted. But we are on it, aren't we? Me and the Harris family.
Definitely in the process, and of course the fabulous museum that's being built right now in Blackpool on the seafront.
Yes.
And that's going to be open in 2022. And obviously Dad will be in it, Orville will be in it. And that'll be fantastic, something, bringing variety back to Blackpool.
I know, it's wonderful, so wonderful that your dad's going to be involved in that with the Orville, and I think my Simon Cow puppet's there as well, and Showtown, next to Orville. I'm so proud of that, by the way.
Oh,
and
yay, that's fab.
And Showtown are doing such an incredible thing. They've worked so hard for years to get this museum together, and to have a little ventriloquist section and me be next to your dad is a dream of mine. So I'm going to be at the opening, by the way. So whatever happens, I'll be there next year, and we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, let's try and get. Hopefully, the statue will be launched around the same week. It was just so beautiful to be involved in that. So that the show was a hit, Eyes and Teeth, but we're not over yet. You know, we'll keep doing that until the statue's up.
Definitely a hit.
To have Nick Thomas on our side and Qdos, who Nick Thomas tells us, you know, of Keith helping him out when he was starting out. So they were so close. It was so nice to have, you know, that Qdos touch.
Yeah, he's lovely. Honestly, the whole of Qdos, fabulous, like a wonderful company, and you know, so caring, and you know, they're so giving, and they just want to put on the greatest pantomimes in the whole world, and I truly think that they do, you know. Yeah,
they do an incredible job. And I know that you did George Sampson, you done panto with, and he won the first Britain's Got Talent, didn't he?
Yes, yeah. Oh, George was lovely. He was so nice to work with. He really gave me confidence as well, you know.
Did he do the Singing in the Rain routine? I loved that. He must have done his backing by now.
He did Singing in the Rain, and he actually did it in, obviously, the show that we did, and it was just amazing. You know, I was kind of fangirling a little bit because obviously when he won, I was a bit younger, and I used to love watching him. I loved that routine, and you know, to see it live, you know, every night, it was amazing. You make a little family by the end of it, and you don't really want to leave them.
No.
But you know, panto is just one of the best things that is just out there. I feel so lucky to every Christmas have been either in a pantomime or have been watching them, you know.
When we did do the Eyes and Teeth show, I think the year later, 2017 actually, and 18, me and you done Blackpool together. No, I didn't want
Blackpool, yeah.
I didn't want anybody else in the show but Kitty. So you come on and you supported us in the Pleasure Beach, which was brilliant. Yes. So you done 3 or 4 songs, and sadly Blackpool is not the same as what it was, but we're hoping with Showtown and a lot of things coming back to breathe life into a venue and to do what we done. It was lovely, wasn't it, to actually go out there and just perform.
Amazing. It was amazing, and you know, everybody who came to watch the show loved it, and I'm sure a lot of them were saying, you know, we wish that we had more of this, because nowadays, obviously, you know, we've got the amazing opera house and the Grand and things, but there's not many small variety shows, or kind of, you know, ones that are actually more variety, like, you know, ventriloquism and all other acts. You know, we've got the circus, which is incredible.
Yes.
But it's, you know, it used to always have such a buzz. And, I mean, of course, there's nothing we can do about the pandemic. But, you know, I really hope, like you said about the Showtown and everything, I really hope we can bring it right back up to the top and have it as that, you know, fantastic, you know, entertainment place that everybody wants to come to watch the shows.
Oh, that would be amazing. When we were doing the Blackpool show at the Paradise Rooms, wasn't it? And then you go and get a job with David Walliams, Gangster Granny. Can you tell us about Gangster Granny when you got that part?
Yes. Yeah, Gangster Granny, that was awesome. So basically, it was my nana, and she was just reading the newspaper, as you do, and she just found this article that said, you know, looking for a dancer for the production Gangster Granny. And at the time, this was in Preston, so the show was in Preston where I first did it, and it was a week, and you know, I just went, learnt the dance, and then performed for a week with this incredible cast. And then I did the show, and that was it. And then a couple of weeks later, you know, they kind of had a call, and they were like, oh, would you like to re-audition, basically, because we want 6 girls to do, like, you know, have 1 week each in the West End and perform in the West End show The Gangster Granny.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, sure. So, you know, went down, did the audition, and a couple of days later got the call, and they said, yeah, you're one of the girls. And I was like, wow. So that was fantastic, and again, such an amazing experience. And actually, obviously, I didn't really know David Walliams was going to be there for one of the days.
Wow.
So I heard him on the stage, talking about the show before we started. And I thought, oh, this is a bit cheeky of me. But I thought, I was sat in my dressing room and I could hear it over the speaker. And I thought, he's going to come behind stage. So I thought, I'm going to pretend to go to the toilet. And then,
I've done that so many times.
Oh gosh, I hope he doesn't listen. But yeah, then I did manage to actually bump into him. My plan worked, and I just said hi, and I just spoke to him for a little bit, and that was nice because he obviously knew Dad. He worked with Dad, and I think he was quite shocked really. But but yeah, it was really lovely to speak to him about the show, and yeah, like I said, I mentioned Dad because he knew him, and especially with the sketch in Little Britain.
Yes. It's just a wonderful connection, isn't it? That you got to do that show, and he'd worked with Dad, and it was it was just amazing. I mean, Matt Lucas sent a video to your dad for Eyes and Teeth, actually. So you've now worked with both of them. Again, it's that connection, that Keith sort of gave us, in his career, and it's lovely to sort of have that admiration for Keith, and then for you to go and work for David was just brilliant. I was so chuffed for you when you got that job. It was incredible.
It was fun. It was fabulous. I loved it. I really did. And Matt Lucas is a wonderful man, really lovely person. And I feel like he's always got our backs in a way, and it's really nice to have that connection.
Yeah. I mean, he dressed up, and you talk about a sketch in Little Britain. He dressed up as Orville shopping, and what was the reaction? Did you sit and watch it with Mum and your brother Shen? Did you sit and watch him?
Yeah. So what actually happened was, every time we'd go to the supermarket or if we were out at the shops or something, people would recognise Dad and be like, "Oh, Keith, where's Orville?" And they'd always be like, "Oh, where's Orville? Where's Orville?" Yeah. And so I think he was chatting to Matt Lucas at one time or something like that, and my dad obviously told them the story, and then Matt thought of the idea of dressing up as Orville, walking around the shops, and people going, "Oh, where's Keith?" So
it's genius.
Very funny. I remember when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. It was just such a big bird.
Oh, the suit is huge. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
I can't. Every time I watch it, I cry with laughter because it is the irony of the actual gag is brilliant.
Yeah.
But you kind of imagine only ventriloquists getting it, or your family getting the gag, because you've been out there shopping with Dad, and you get it. I get it with Arthur Lager now, but I don't see anyone dressing up as Arthur. Have you ever, over the years, did you ever dress up as Cuddles? Because there's always part of the show, wasn't there, where Cuddles sort of jumps out and dances or something during the show?
Well, basically what happened was when I was younger, I was never in the show, so my dad would usually use one of the little dancers or something in the show.
Oh, yes.
Just because they'd be doing it every night, because usually it'd be in a pantomime. So I never really got the chance, but I think maybe one time at home I must have tried it on or something around the house. I don't know.
It's got to be done. Yeah.
A lot of weird things happen in my house. But yeah, and then the next time when he needed somebody to dress up, I was too tall for it. So,
right.
I've heard it's a bit claustrophobic, so I'm quite glad.
Yeah,
I didn't have to.
You got away lightly. I saw a couple of years ago as well. He wrote this new song, but not like this, like that. Is that how it went?
It goes like this.
It goes like this. That's it. Sorry.
It goes like this. It goes like that. But that was, you know what? Like I said about my dad, he had so many ideas. He was always trying, to do the next big thing. Which that's why, I love him so much and I'm so inspired by him because he just never stopped. He
didn't.
No, he couldn't sleep half the time because he was thinking about what new thing he could do, or and if he was thinking about lyrics for a song, he actually wrote a lot of lyrics, which I didn't know, I guess, that much that Dad wrote so many songs or things like that, and I think maybe that's why I'm so into music and things as well.
Yeah.
really made that
Excuse me.
connection about a couple of years ago. I'd never really thought about it, But yeah, he's such a talent in everything.
Yeah, he did love music. He wrote a musical, didn't he, at one time? And it was, and that was something to do with the Wings, wasn't it? It was.
Well, that was the song. Well, yes, I know. I'm so excited about that. But basically, the song "Waiting in the Wings" that he wrote with the very talented Ian Hooper and Wayne. Obviously years ago when he had the idea, and then I found it not so long ago, and I love it so much, that song, and I did actually want to re-record it, but that's a long process. I kind of wanted to do it this year. I mean, last year, sorry. I thought it'd be good in an advert because obviously we're all kind of waiting in the wings at the minute.
Yeah, so, I mean, to try and get it to Lloyd Webber, because it's a perfect song for that. And we saw that musical.
You know what? I have Andrew Lloyd Webber on TikTok, so you never know.
Because it was a beautiful song. Keith played me these songs when he was writing the musical, and I'm so gutted it never took off. It takes a big wage to get something onto the stage, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? I really believe in that musical. Like, it's definitely not. It's not over. Like, maybe it was pushed under the rug a little bit, but, as soon as I've found it, I've been like, oh my gosh, like, I have so many more ideas for it as well, and, the things you can do nowadays.
Yes.
And, obviously it was called The Master's Voice.
Oh, okay, yes.
It was obviously about the puppet who, kind of took over, which is really good. But I remember my dad actually did pitch it to somebody, but my dad wanted to play the main part in the show, and then the guy was, I don't know who it was now, but he said no no, you're not. So my dad said, right, you're not having the musical then.
Okay, I understand that Keith wanted to play that part, but the reason why he's written the musical, and I think maybe there's something that you could bring to life in the future. It was written for a reason, and it's there, and it's a reason for you to find it is because it may go a different way with you involved, which and I'll leave it there because if it's in process you can't talk about it.
It will be, honestly, when it comes out, it'll be one of the most amazing musicals you've ever seen, because I can just really envision it, and it's nothing like what's been done before. It's kind of a complete different idea, and I like it because it's got a good twist to it, which makes it interesting.
Oh, he never told me the twist. Oh, I can't wait. Don't tell me. No spoilers.
Ooh, confidentiality.
Now, Kitty, you are such a natural talent, and you've taken this to. I mean, when we were all hit with this COVID in 2020, it didn't stop Kitty. Nothing's going to stop Kitty Harris. So you blossomed last year. You started to do, and you were probably doing TikTok way before last year, but I think you've got, can you tell me, maybe 11 or 12 million likes on your TikTok account. You've got so many thousand, you could probably tell me how many thousand followers you've got, but what you've done is actually just every day you put videos out, and you've really mastered the TikTok talent, which is not easy to get into. And can you tell me about your TikTok experience and how you got into that?
My cousin actually first showed me TikTok because I had no idea. I kind of knew that it was, getting sort of bigger, I guess. It was kind of building up and a lot more people were going on it. And this was only last year, actually. So I was kind of new to it, I guess, but I have heard of it. And then she was showing me a few videos, and I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. Don't really want to do that. And then I just, as soon as then we went into lockdown, it was actually March time, so I'll kind of be celebrating a year on TikTok.
Wow.
However, yeah, crazy. And then I really did not understand how to do it at first. It took me a couple of times to get used to it. And I first actually started on it just doing a silly kind of lip syncs to things.
Yes.
Just random things, really. There was quite a few trends going around, so obviously I thought, I could use my dancing skills and do a bit of the dances, and then I just, I like the comedy side to it as well, and then I did those for ages, and then I feel like it was probably in about maybe May. I think it was in May when I started to do these sort of skits and, these sketches, and I just thought, that's just what I want to do, because I love it, and I didn't really believe in myself at the start, I feel like it's crazy how much it's kind of blown up. Like, I did not expect it. It was one of those things that you just kind of, you just kind of guilty pleasure. You kind of just do it and then you put it out and just don't think anybody's going to watch it.
Yeah.
And then, suddenly that's the most amazing thing about TikTok is you can sometimes put anything out and just the next day you wake up with 1 million followers. You don't know. And it's just incredible how it works. And I just remember first putting that video out and getting a lot of kind of recognition from it. And that was, I think it was something like different mums at a bake sale, I think it was.
Right.
I think it did something like that. So obviously, I was acting silly, like just from past experiences, I guess. And then more recently, I've started to do ones about my mum. And, just things that she'd do, like come into my room and just don't say anything and just walks out, like, silly things that just people can relate to. And I think that's probably why it's blown up so much, because people can relate to it. And, I mean, I love watching, like, Peter Kay and things, because he always does really funny sketches that you can relate to, and you think, oh, I do that, or,
Yeah,
So
I think that's why people
laugh.
find it funny, don't they? Because you can relate to it. It's like Lee Evans and Peter Kay. They talk about, that it's sort of kids dancing on their knees, on the dance floor at weddings and things, and garlic bread, all of that stuff.
Yeah, garlic bread.
It's so funny.
Exactly. So, but like I said, I'm coming up close to 400 K. I call them friends. I don't call them followers. I call them my friends.
Oh, nice.
Because, I don't like the word followers. I like to use them as my friends.
Yeah, no one wants to be followed, do you?
Yeah, and to be truly honest, I'm 20 years old. I'm nearly 21. Woo! But, I feel like a lot of people when they're in their 20s kind of don't really know what they're doing. And I kind of feel like at the start of the year, and especially with COVID, I was a bit like, I have no idea what I'm doing, no idea what I want to do anymore. And, you kind of get into that headspace. However, when I started TikTok, it really helped me, like, bring back my confidence and think, no, you can do this. People will watch you. They want to watch you. And, every day it's so lovely because I get a lot of comments and, people, they're just saying, you know what, Kit, thank you so much because I love watching your videos every day. You make me smile every day. You've helped me get through this lockdown. And, to me, that's really important because even though I'm not performing on stage, I can still, be there for someone and make them feel a little bit of happiness throughout the day.
Yeah, you're still performing, and that's credit to you. That it really is good because you're taking people's mind away from the obvious, and it's so nice to have that to look forward to. So if you don't do a video, do you get? Where are you? Where's the video, Kitty? You don't want to be late, do you?
Yeah. But you know what? They're very good, and I think I've got a complete range of of friends on there.
Yeah.
And I think it's good because if they're younger kids, they show it to the mum, and then the mums will find it funny, and they'll show it to their friends, and
that's how it
suddenly
spreads.
whole family's following me.
Yeah, it's incredible because it does spread that way, and the fact that you've got these comedy sketches that you do that are so funny and clever, and you must sort of, I don't know, do you rehearse them before they go out, or do you rehearse it and then post it?
Yeah, well, sometimes I rehearse them, but not that I rehearse them, but sometimes I'll kind of think through sort of the scenario I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I literally, it's so funny though, I film all my videos in my bathroom, and people are always like, "Why are you in the bathroom?" Like literally all the time. This is my most. My most question I get is, why are you filming in the bathroom? And I've told them before, it's just the lighting, sound,
the acoustics.
And 3, because when you're in the bathroom, no one's going to come in unless they're weird. But, if you're in the bathroom, you're in the bathroom. So I can just act weird in the bathroom and nobody knows.
Well, they do because they're all watching on TikTok.
Exactly. But my mum and my brother, they don't really know.
Oh, that's amazing. Just keep up the great work. And that's wonderful. Thanks for entertaining everybody. It's brilliant. You are literally loved by millions now because you got millions of likes on there. It's incredible. And again, your father was loved by millions. and it's just such a wonderful thing. You're carrying that light, that sparkle in your dad's eye. You've got it, and it's pure talent. And so keep going. It's wonderful and just lovely. I'm so glad we stayed in touch.
Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate that. It's really, really nice. And, you know, thanks for always being here for us and supporting me and, you know, helping my mum and, you know, and just being so amazing to everybody and, you know, being that glue that will, you know, keep us together.
Oh,
and yeah,
bless.
you're very
That's a big
loved
glue.
here.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. I'll always stick around. I'll stick around.
Yeah, stick around.
I'd like to say this week, happy 21st birthday, Kitty. Bless you.
Thank you.
I can't believe you're going to be 21. I remember when you were 3 and we were in the Algarve and just having tapas in the Algarve and you were 3 fighting with your brother and
I won't mind that now. It sounds quite nice, that.
I know. Hey, it won't be long. Oh, it's crazy that you're 21, but have the most wonderful birthday and we'll make it up to you when we come up there. And
Sounds good.
yeah, it's just amazing. But we'd like to say thank you so much to Kitty Harris for being on Eyes and Teeth today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel truly honoured. Thanks, Steve.
Eyes and Teeth. Thank you, Kitty. That was a really nice way to end another season. To follow Kitty on TikTok, search for Kitty Harris with a kiss on the end. To find her on Twitter, it's at Kitty_Harris1. And you can find her on her YouTube channel under Kitty Harris. So don't forget to subscribe. Today's comedy quote comes from David Walliams. It's easier not to make a particular joke in case it offends. But every joke will offend someone. And I've always believed that the audience is bigger than one person. The danger is that things will become bland. Eyes and Teeth is written, produced and hosted by Steve Hewlett. Vocals by Lola, Nina and Larissa Hewlett. Additional vocals by Rich T. The Eyes and Teeth music and jingles are produced and performed by the one and only Mr. Kevin Dean. Thanks for listening to Eyes and Teeth Future Stars Season 6. Join me on Season 7, which is not too far away. And I want to thank you for your support on this podcast. If you are enjoying it, please download on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And once you subscribe, you will be notified of the next edition and you won't miss one. The next season will be full of hilarious people and I can't wait to share more conversations with you. So for now, take care and keep laughing.
Bye.